Welcome back to the Hygge Gaming Vodcast. Today we're going to talk about the greatest microplays and maneuvers on the Eastern Front. And I am Boppus.
And my name is Badger.
And as I said, we're gonna go east this time. Yeah.
Yes, that's what we're gonna do.
Was I supposed to say anything more?
So the design of the episode, I'll take over because you're not managing it. All right, so we're gonna talk about greatest microplays on the Eastern Front. We both prepared a couple of each, so we're gonna go through 3 each, unless there's some overlaps. And I have, surprise, a few bonuses ones as well that might be available if we have time.
And as always, I did an assignment. I can't make an intro, but I can make 3 points if I need to make 3 points.
That's great.
Yeah.
You get a star for effort. Okay, so since you're the host of this episode, then it's my time to start, right?
You're going first.
Okay, so I feel very exotic first, I have to say. I have a rosy-like drink with a big ice cucumber. What do you call that in the glass? Ice something.
Ice cube.
Ice cube. Ice cube. Ice cucumber. I heard a podcast earlier today about Alan Turing, and then they talked about Benedict Cumberbatch, and I thought about Cucumberbatch. What's his name? And then I thought Ice Cucumber. Never mind.
Okay.
That's yes. Cut everything.
We're getting off already.
So
go.
Yes. First one.
Yeah.
Of the top 6 greatest play on the Eastern Front. I haven't picked one yet, so I'm looking at my list now. Okay. I'm gonna go with my favorite one. It's the deep defense microplay as the Soviet Union. And what I'm talking about when I talk about that is basically when you're at the stage that they broke through the first line or the second line, and you're basically at the gates of Mordor when you're outside of Moscow in the north, and you're at this. On the Eastern Front, there's this like zone where all the supply gets really thin. So there's a lot of supply hubs close to like Ukrainian, Belarusian border. And then the further in you get, like the more scarce the supply hubs get. And there's this point where there's this perfect like place and time where you as the defender have a supply advantage. So usually the Axis, they can.
Is this outside of Moscow, or where are you right now on the map?
I'm somewhere between Moscow and like the Stalin line. So it's like that in between zone. Usually. So outside of Moscow, but not exactly outside of Moscow, but like north of Moscow, south of Moscow. If that makes sense. But in like kind of like in the eastern line around Moscow. And when you're there, usually you'll be taking a lot of punches as the Soviet Union usually at that stage. But if you still have some teeth left, you still have some tanks left, or if you have a build where you have a lot of infantry. Then what you can do when they push you and they make another breakthrough of your line, they will run out of fuel, like definitely at some point. That's when you can just like encircle, you just push with everything, like the whole line. You just attack on every corner. Doesn't matter if you have crappy infantry, whatever, because you will just be able to run over them of like sheer number of units and speed because they would have zero supply.
Yeah.
And there's always these opportunities popping up because usually if you're at that stage, you're taking so much of a beating that they don't think that you can do any counterattacks anymore. And that's usually when you can turn the tide if you're able to do this kind of plays.
Yeah.
So maybe that was a very long, complex one, but I can envision it. I've seen it so many times.
Yeah, I think I'll try to push in some maps here. But
graphics,
the supply map mode in the Eastern Front is crucial.
But it's basically the Axis gets greedy, they push too far, they run out of fuel without noticing, or supplies without noticing, and then you just push the entire, like, just attack on a broad front and try to encircle whatever spearhead they come with. And usually it's so far distances, so even though they try to pull out, they try to do something about it, it's like too late already.
Yeah.
So that's my first one.
Yeah. Yes, it's a great one. And I want to just point out the crucial thing of having some teeth left at the Soviet. I can't speak anymore. At the Soviet Union, you need to have teeth left because when you're withdrawing, You need to
How
be able
was
to
the teeth?
counterattack.
How was the teeth hygiene of the Soviet soldiers during World War II?
Yeah.
Did they have any teeth?
They
Is
did.
that what you're talking about? No, sorry.
No, we should have Soviet bash way too much there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they
Too
didn't.
easy.
Yeah.
No.
But that's another part. But
Okay,
yeah,
so-
having some teeth left is really crucial as the Soviet Union, and I really like that one. And I might have a similar one coming, but in an
Okay.
even better spot. But that's another thing.
Okay, so your first one.
My first one is something that I love. It's kind of easy to pull off, and most players fall for this, even in multiplayer, at least in our games. And that is the Dnipropetrovsk, a Dnieper River trap. You have, like in Ukraine, you have the Dnieper River going like a U. You have Cherkasy, which is one town in the south, and you have Kherson, which is another city in the north. And usually the Axis just go in and fill out this. It's a pocket. It's a pocket along the Dnieper River. They go fill out this pocket. You could just easily take the Cherkasy supply hub, the only railway into that pocket. So if you manage to attack, just taking that supply hub is the first step. But also
as Axis.
No, as the Soviet Union as a counterattack, because the Axis fills up that pocket. The Axis start advancing, going to the river.
Okay, so from the north you push down.
From the north
you
push down towards the coastline of Kherson. You take that supply hub, the only railway into that pocket, cutting off all Axis troops in that pocket. They will have no supply. They have no chance of escaping. So you can hide some troops in the north, some troops in the south, and just push.
We've seen many poor Romanian players taking like on the short end of that strategy or that play. Yeah,
and doing it quickly when they're reinforcing. In the first stages of Barbarossa, they're just pouring in. They have no entrenchment really going on, nothing, just doing that pocket. Quite easy, clear out the pocket, be happy, just retreat out, because you don't need that pocket. It's hard to defend, but it's easy to surround someone in.
Very true. No, but I really like that. And yes, so me and the rest of the viewers are not getting all too confused about this. Are you talking about if you have the line you're attacking, punching through as the Soviets, right?
Yeah, as the Soviets punching through. Yes. I'm gonna put some graphics on these, just showing, because probably not everyone know where Cherkasy is. Kherson is more.
Shout out to Ukraine, the latest podcast, who talk about Petrovsk, Dnipropetrovsk quite a lot, because there's a lot of things happening there right now. While we record this in reality.
Dnipropetrovsk.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but that's a good one. So I can actually follow up on. No, I'm not doing that now. I'm doing another one that I like more, just in case you have the same one. So I'm stealing it from you probably. Okay, so this is an Axis angled one. So my second greatest play on the Eastern Front. If you play the Axis and you attack the Soviet Union, you usually have air supremacy or air domination over the Soviet Union, because usually the Luftwaffe is so much more powerful than whatever the Soviets can put in the air. So you will be able to get local dominance at times. That means that you're able to paradrop the Soviet Unions.
Yeah.
Which means that I'm not talking about fancy, super big encirclements. You don't need that. You basically just need to paradrop supply hubs or railways in the backline. So if you do that, and you it's kind of like dissecting with a small knife, like just cutting off the lifeline at certain points, and then whole sectors of the front line will get completely cut off.
Yeah,
if you do that, and that can be extremely devastating. So it's basically during the paradrop, the Soviet Union player will start reacting like shit. I need to take care of this paradrop, and then you wait like 1-2 days in game, and then you just roll them over.
Yeah,
and or you can attack right away, because if they're cut off, fighting is the best way of taking away fuel and supply as well. So So if you attack and they don't get any new supply, then you just steamroll them.
Yeah.
So they might be hard, hard not to crack the first 24 hours, but after that they will just melt.
Yeah.
So that's a very nice play. And of course, if you want to do it all the way, you can also paradrop the capital, and that would reroute all supply as well to some other capital and so on. But usually it's easier almost to can look at where you attack and just like paradrop the closest supply hub if you do it simple, or paradrop all the railways going into that supply hub if you do it difficult.
That was my point in this one, because I really like this. It's really powerful. If they are defending their supply hubs, you can just take a railway going to the supply hub.
Yeah.
If you don't have a lot of other connecting railways.
Usually like a big like front line section, it's usually like has one big supply hub and it's like maybe three like railways going into that one from different directions.
Yeah.
So it's quite easy to just like 3 crappy paratroopers who cut that off. Yeah. And then like that whole section of the front line is.
But also as the front starts moving, it might be 3 railways going in from the start, but as the front starts moving, they might be cut off already, because some railways in the Soviet Union, I think it goes over some rivers. Just you want to defend behind the river, but the railway goes on the wrong side,
and that's why you want to have quick response forces as Soviet Union as well. But that's another topic. Okay,
that's another.
So your second one.
Yeah, I'm going to see. This might be the one you thought you could steal from me. So let's see. But that's naval invading the Caucasus. I would say that's
it's not even on my list.
Okay.
I was considering it, but I didn't. Okay.
Yeah, I would say that is one of the most devastating things you can do against the Soviet Union, if you also can make sure they're not getting fuel via convoys, and you can convoy raid them. Yes, a naval invasion in the Caucasus, take all the oil, because every oil resource in the Soviet Union is in the Caucasus, and there's something in like Kiev or something like that.
I'm thinking about the Schnapps song that we made for Bergwoodhof, where I want to have Baku for all the oil kind of song.
Was that the Mowgli Jungle Book song?
I want to be a human song.
Yeah.
But instead, I want to have all the oil fields outside of Baku. Yeah. It doesn't translate that good to English. Never mind.
But still, just taking all the oil in the Caucasus and defending it by defending the mountain line in the Caucasus is quite easy. If you just get a foothold there, you can defend the harbor. It's hard for tanks to just push you out easily, and you can just cut off the oil supply, in effect cutting out the air dominance or the air power and the tank power of the Soviet Union in one blow. And I think that's amazing. If you pull this off, it's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's really powerful. I mean, that kind of also assumes that they can't import fuel anywhere from.
You need to convoy raid them.
So it's kind of, I mean, I agree, it's really powerful, and it opens up a new front and everything. I kind of like the whole thing. It is usually kind of okay as Soviet Union just to mass import oil or get lend-lease as well, as long as the waters are open. Yeah. So there are some workarounds, of course, but just opening another front that's difficult to throw out again and take all the oil is it's a devastating blow. That's quite easily accessible in a way.
Yeah, you don't need to put a lot of resources into it, and as you said, you're opening another front and can start pushing south, which will lead into my third point. I'm gonna leave it over to you first.
Okay, so let's say, so now I'm taking one of my favorite plays playing the Soviet Union, but also playing France. So it's making an intentional weak spot in your front line, and it's one of my all-time favorite plays, because if they fall for it, it's because let me rewind it a little bit. If you attack, you're the one concentrating units at some point and attacking, and which means that you will get local dominance and a force multiplier, and be able to overrun and do surrounds and breakthrough and everything. That's just how war works, right? if the defender is able to concentrate at the same time, at the same place, the defender usually wins because it's easier to defend than attack. That's usually how it goes. The tricky part is if you have a very big front line as Soviet Union, it's difficult to know where they're attacking and react to it and entrench where they're attacking in time.
Yeah.
If you, however, know where they will attack beforehand, you can set a trap. So if you intentionally make your line weaker somewhere, or you lure them to attack you in a certain place, and they do, then you can be prepared to have a trap ready. And when I talk about a trap, that means that you're in the fog of war with tanks or some good units that's quick and with a lot of breakthrough and a lot of stats. And once they break through and they're like, oh, here's the green fields of southern Ukraine, let's just break through and make a big, nice encirclement.
Yeah.
That's when you just roll in from the side out of the fog of war and cut off the head of the snake.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the Germans or whatever, Hungarians have 5 tank divisions with 0 fuel, and they're like super easy to kill.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's how you win the game, basically. Like if you can kill and encircle the enemy's good units, then you can steamroll afterwards.
Yeah.
Without being worried. So you don't need to attack. You can, if you can make sure to know where they will attack you, then it's much easier, because then you're fighting on a home field advantage on top of that, right? So that's a place I really like to see, like intentional weak spots in your defensive line to basically know where the enemy will attack you, and then be prepared there in one way or another.
So as a metaphor, this is a game of dental hygiene. If you don't have your teeth left, you will be steamrolled.
If you don't have your teeth left, then you're a gunner on a UK battleship from southern Wales.
Yeah. Moving forward.
Sorry for all of you watching, listening to this who are from Wales. I believe you have much better healthcare systems right now in dental care. I don't know. But if you have ever watched any kind of live video movie or whatever from World War One, like some videos from World War One, or seen photos on UK soldiers from World War One, it's not the best teeth hygiene. They're all crooked and they're all black. That's
I think we need to move forward from the Great Britain.
Sidetrack.
Welcome to the dentist channel. Yeah. Have you ever considered?
I know, like 50 people would unsubscribe. Thanks. So sorry about that.
Yeah,
I really like the UK. I have to say, and you know that. So,
and the Navy. So my last one is the unsupplied circle going around Stalingrad, Grozny, and I think it's Rostov. So you have a huge circle in the middle, in the south of, the south of Russia, outside Ukraine, where there's no supply hubs at all. So you have Grozny in...
that's true.
Yeah. It's not Dagestan, it's Chechnya.
So if you're accessing and pushing against Stalingrad, you're suddenly in like a desert kind of.
You're in a death circle where you can really push back. As you said, outside Moscow, I would say this is even better because it's much farther from the supply hubs here in the south. So you have Stalingrad and Grozny. It's a lot of provinces between there. So if they start pushing in there, there's a great possibility to retreat, wait, have your teeth left, and when they move forward, as you said, but this will be even more devastating because they won't have any fuel and the supply. Even if they start withdrawing from Stalingrad, you can really push them back and make a huge encirclement. And this will be negated. If you have the Caucasus as the axis, you will have the Grozny supply hub, and you will have a better possibility to take Astrakhan, which is on the Caspian Sea, and actually push from more sides and more supply hubs. But that circle is horrible to fight in.
But that's a very another. If I'm gonna build on your point now, because what I really like to see what Soviet players doing as well is to save some of the Air Force as well, and use the Air Force once they get to the backer air zones.
Yeah.
So the air zone over Stalingrad is one of them, for example, because if you build up the air base around Stalingrad and you save your your air force, and then you just push up all the airplanes once the Germans get there as well, or the Axis get there, then not only are they out of supply, they have zero air because they won't have range or any air bases close by either. And they don't see it coming. So that's really powerful if you can combine those two at the same time.
Yeah, that's a great bonus point. I'm gonna add to your point, is to actually prepare and build air bases in the back lines, because usually you get overrun and your air bases
yes, push all the airplanes backwards, and they'll get overstacked.
Yeah, totally overstacked.
Or overcrowded, yeah.
And what happens if you have an overstacked airport? Your air efficiency drops to 0 quite quickly.
Yeah, or close to 0 at least.
Close to 0. They're just worthless.
Worthless, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Is this everything? We made the entire Eastern Front in 20 minutes, 21.
21.
We need to fill this episode up for once. We're not talking too much.
Okay, no, but that's good. I have bonuses once, but maybe we don't need one. Maybe we're happy about this.
Yeah, a quick episode for once.
Quick episode, yeah.
Yeah.
So then I'm gonna do this instead. So if you like what you hear and what you see, you can consider subscribing to this channel. And not only will we be super happy if you do, but that means you will also be able to get a new episode in your feed every week from me and Boppus. So every second week we do these podcasts. Every second week we do a regular guide. If you really, really, really like what you see and you want to have even more guides and episodes from us, then you can consider becoming a Patreon, and you will also support this circus of nerdery and to continue be on the road, basically. So then you get a full archive of Patreon guides and stuff like that, and Discord, and a lot of love, basically. Yeah, check it out. We will get the link somewhere in the show notes.
Did you say we have like 50 Patreon guides right now?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think we're going up. So it's a huge archive.
I think we're around 50.
Yeah.
So 50 guides only exclusively for Patreons.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything with questionable quality.
Yeah.
No. It's great.
No. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of love happening. All right. I think that was everything, right?
Yeah. Wrap up. See you guys next time.